Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Faith and thank you so much for watching. I posted a video a few weeks ago of me going through my entire physical TBR, and the last update I gave you guys, I think I had 63 or 64 books left, and I'm not going to tell you how far I've progressed on that as of now. The next update you will get will be in my June reading wrap up. But it's safe to say I have not made it through those 63 or 64 books in the last couple weeks. So I've got a lot left is what I'm trying to say. And there are some books on my TBR that I am scared or intimidated to read. I'm going to go through those today. And if you've read any of the books that I'm going to talk about today, I would love for you to not spoil it, but convince me that they're not scary or intimidating. Please. The first book is Quicksilver by Callie Hart. It's over 600 pages, and any book that's over probably 450 or 500, I do get a little hesitant to read them. Another reason is because this book just got so popular so fast. I know a lot of books, when they first come out and get really popular, it seems like everyone loves them, but then after a few days or a week, that's when the hate for them start coming in of people saying, oh, it's so bad, it's so bad. However, I still hear good things about this book. That being said, I do still hear bad things about the book as well. A lot of the book people that I follow did really enjoy this book, and we have fairly similar tastes, so I'm hoping I will like it. But yeah, I've also heard that Kingfisher is like a really good book boyfriend, so in that aspect, I'm actually very excited to read it. I will also say, I've heard that the cover doesn't really correlate with the story that well. I've heard people say that Kingfisher doesn't look like this at all, and I've also heard people say the silver tear makes no sense. Again, I have not read this book, I don't know, but I'll have to read it and find out. I am hoping to read this one in the next few months, just because it's been sitting on my shelf for a while, and I have been really wanting to get into it. And I think the last romantasy I read was Fearless, and that was really bad in my opinion. And then before that was Fear the Flames, which was a DNF. So unless I'm forgetting one, I haven't read a really good romantasy since I think January. So I'll probably get to this within the next few books that I read. And if I don't get to that romantasy book, I'll definitely get to this one, which is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. This one I'm only scared to read because I want this to be good so bad. I kind of want to get more into the vampire sphere. The only vampire series that I've really read is Twilight, and I will take no hate for that. It's incredible. Sorry, I said it. Did it take me over 30 minutes to read 2 pages in New Moon because of how much secondhand embarrassment I was getting? Yeah, but they're so good, guys. If you haven't read them, read them. The only other vampire book that I've read is Bride, and that was also more focused on the werewolves. So yeah, I kind of just want to read about vampires, I guess. And if I remember correctly, these are about vampires. I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if the main people are vampires or if there's just vampires in it. I mean, I guess I'll see when I get to it. The only reason that I'm scared to read this is because I want it to be good so bad. Sorry, no, I need this to be good so bad that I'm so scared to read it. And I'm scared that I've set my expectations too high, that it won't meet it, and then I'll be like, oh, it's bad, when actually it's not bad. I've just set my expectations too high, which I've noticed a lot of people do. So I'm scared that I did this with this book, because usually I'm really good about doing that. I think I've just held off too long for reading this, that I just keep letting those expectations build up. And yeah, so that's really the only reason I'm scared to read this. I'm gonna try to get to this within the next couple of months. This I will probably read before Quicksilver. But if I read this and it's really good, guys, I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna break my ban and buy the second one. So yeah, we'll see. I hope it's good enough that I want to break it, but then at the same time, I don't want to break my ban. Maybe I'll hold off on reading this, maybe not. Moving away from romantasy, we've got this big boy, which is It by Stephen King. This book I think I've had on my TBR longer than almost every other book. I'm definitely overdue for reading this book, but guys, it is just so big. If I remember correctly, the longest book I've ever read was Kingdom of Ash, which falls just below 1,000 pages. It's like 970 or 980 or 990 something, and this one is 1153, so like 150 to 200 pages bigger than that. That is the main reason that I haven't read this book yet. The other reason is the orgy scene between children, because I bought this book and then a few months later I heard someone talking about that and I was like, there's no way. Sure enough, there is, and that makes me very uncomfortable. So I was like, oh, I'm not reading that. I love the movies. I really do want to read it. I might end up just having to listen to the audiobook. We'll see. Like, look how big this is. You're joking. Stephen, come on. I've also never read a Stephen King book. and there are quite a few of his that I want to read. I'm kind of scared to start with this one just because of the orgy scene and because of how long it is. I don't want it to put me off other Stephen King books because I really want to read Misery, and I have 2 other Stephen King books on my TBR, which is Insomnia and The Institute. I'm definitely not going to read Insomnia before this, but I might read The Institute, and I did get my mom Misery a couple years ago for her birthday or Mother's Day or something. I might take her copy, borrow it, and read that just because I love that movie and my mom loves the book. She said it's really good. So I might read that first just because I know it's significantly shorter. As a way to like ease into Stephen King, I might do that. And like I said, I love the movies, and I don't know how book accurate they are though, because I know The Shining is insanely inaccurate, or so I've heard. We actually went to the Stanley Hotel when we were on vacation in Colorado a few years ago, which if you don't know, Stephen King got the idea of The Shining while he stayed there, and we did one of their haunted ghost tours, and at the beginning they said that he was so upset about how inaccurate the movie was that he made his own show for it or something like that. I don't fully remember. Like I said, this was a few years ago, so I'm not sure how accurate this one is, but now that I think about it, I guess I'm not really concerned with book accuracy as long as it's still suspenseful and scary. But as of right now, the scariest thing about this book to me is the sheer size of it. And then we've got The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I apologize, I have no idea how to say that. The biggest reason I'm scared to read this is simply because I have heard so many mixed reviews about it, but the most common critique I hear, even from people who like the book, is that it is very boring until the end, and then apparently for a lot of people the end is super hit or miss. I'm scared that it's going to be so boring and then I get to the end and I'm like, wow, this wasn't worth it. That being said, if it is really boring and I simply can't get through it, I would just DNF. I wouldn't try to make it to the end just because I know there's some big thing at the end, I guess, even though I don't know what that thing is. I'm assuming it's just some crazy plot twist. If you've watched any of my videos, you probably know that I mainly read romance. I have been trying to slightly get away from that. Do not get me wrong, I love reading romance. I just kind of want to expand my taste because in the past couple months, I realized that most of the books I read are very mainstream, basic white girl books. And listen, look at me. That is exactly what I am. But I do want to expand my tastes, and I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to, broaden your horizons. So based on the usual books I read, this is definitely pretty different from those. So that's another reason I'm kind of scared to read it. Also, I have had this on my TBR for almost 2 years now, so I do need to get around to reading it sometime. But that goes for a lot of my books, so we'll get to it when we get to it. And the last book on my TBR that I'm pretty scared to read is The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan, and really the entire Heroes of Olympus series. Please do not get me wrong. I love Percy Jackson. When everyone else in my class read those books, I think we were in 6th grade, and I started it about the same time as everyone else because, that's all everyone was talking about. I wanted to read it so I could be included in conversations. I don't even think I was halfway through the first book before everyone else had finished it, and by the time I got done, everyone else had moved on to some other series. And guys, it took me months to read that book. That's not me saying the book was bad. Like I said, I love the book. I just used to be a really, really bad reader. I remember after I finished that, I tried to read the second one. I think I got to page 17 before I gave up on it, just because again, it was taking me so long to read. And now I wanted to start the other series that the rest of my class was reading, which either would have been Divergent or The Hunger Games, both of which at the time, again, I only read the first book because I was just that much of a bad reader compared to everyone else. I tried again with the first book a couple years later, but again, I only got through the first book and then I stopped a little farther into the second book, but not much. I don't even know why I stopped that time. I think again, I was just discouraged by how long it was taking me to read it. So I never actually finished the series until I think 2 summers ago, where I ended up reading every single book in under 24 hours because I don't know, I guess something finally clicked and I was able to read well, which I'm very thankful for. So again, while I absolutely love those books, it was very clear to me that I would have loved them significantly more if I had actually been able to complete the series when I was younger. So I'm kind of just worried that I'll be reading these and feel like, oh, I would have enjoyed these so much more if I was, 13, 14. I have no problem reading YA. I love YA. Some of the best books I've ever read in my entire life are YA, still to this day. I still do really want to read these, and I absolutely will. It's probably best that I get to them sooner than later if that is something I'm concerned about, because, I'm only going to get older from here. I'm definitely going to try to get to these by the end of this year, and I just really hope that I don't feel like I'm way too old for them. So as of right now, those are all really the only books that I can think of that I'm scared to read on my TBR. I'm sure there's more that I just can't think of, but those are definitely the big ones. So that is all that I have for you guys today. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow my Instagram, which is in the description below, for more bookish content. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I hope your summer's going great. If not, I hope it gets better. Love you guys. Bye.